You. The word barely escapes his lips. Marcus Brennan, billionaire, CEO untouchable, stands frozen on the rain-soaked sidewalk, staring at the woman hunched against the brick wall. She's drenched, shivering, holding a cardboard sign that's disintegrating in her hands. And he knows her face. His driver honks twice. The restaurant reservation, some investor dinner he doesn't care about, waits 3 blocks away. But Marcus can't move, can't breathe, because the woman begging in the freezing rain, clothes plastered to her skin, is the same woman who dragged him out of a burning building 12 months ago. The same woman who saved his life. Thunder cracks overhead. She doesn't look up, doesn't see him yet, just stares at the wet pavement, holding that ruined sign like it's the only thing keeping her upright. Marcus takes 1 step closer. The rain hammers harder now, turning the street into a river. People rush past her, umbrellas up, faces down, like she's invisible, like she's nothing. His chest tightens. 1 year ago, she risked everything. Ran into smoke and flames while everyone else ran out. She didn't know who he was. Didn't care about his net worth or his name in Forbes. She just saw someone who needed help. And now she's here, broken, forgotten. Then he sees it, the burned scar running down her left forearm. The same arm she used to shield him from collapsing debris. The same arm that pulled him toward the exit when he couldn't see through the smoke. She got that scar saving him. And he never saw her again after the ambulance doors closed. Marcus's hands ball into fists. His $10,000 suit is soaking through, but he doesn't notice. All he sees is her, shaking from cold, eyes hollow, sign reading. Please help. Lost everything. The driver honks again, louder this time. Marcus ignores it. Because something's wrong. Deeply, terribly wrong. A woman who saved a billionaire's life shouldn't be on the street a year later, begging for spare change. Someone should have taken care of her. Someone should have made sure she was okay. But clearly no one did. His mind races. The night of the fire comes back in flashes, her voice cutting through the chaos, strong and calm. Stay with me. Don't stop moving. The way she kept talking to him, keeping him conscious, even when the heat became unbearable. She didn't hesitate, didn't think twice. And here she is, alone, in the rain. Would you walk past her? Would you pretend you didn't see? Most people already have. But if you believe everyone, no matter their job, their background, their skin color, deserves basic dignity, hit subscribe right now. The trolls won't. Prove them wrong. Marcus takes another step. Close enough, now that he can see her hands trembling. Close enough to notice the way she keeps her head down, like she's trying to disappear. His throat goes dry. What happened to her? Why is she here? And why, after everything she did, does the universe think this is what she deserves? He opens his mouth to speak, but before he can say a word, she looks up. And the moment their eyes meet, everything stops. Her eyes widen, just for a second. Then something darker crosses her face. Shame, maybe. Or fear. She recognizes him too. Kendra, Marcus breathes. The name comes back to him like a punch. He heard it once, through the haze of smoke and sirens. A paramedic had said it while checking her vitals. He tried to find her afterward, sent his assistant to every hospital in the city, but she'd vanished. No contact info. No forwarding address. Like she never existed. Kendra scrambles to her feet, nearly slipping on the wet concrete. She clutches the cardboard sign to her chest, backing against the wall like a cornered animal. I didn't know you'd be here, she stammers. Her voice is hoarse, broken. Marcus takes a half step forward, palms up. Wait. Don't. But she's already moving, trying to disappear into the rain. And just like that, he's back in the fire. 1 year ago. The Brennan Industries Conference Center. Faulty wiring, they said later. The flames spread faster than anyone expected. Marcus was on the 3rd floor when the smoke started pouring in, thick, black, suffocating. He remembers stumbling through the hallway, lungs burning, vision blurring. Then a hand grabbed his shoulder. "Sir, this way. Now." She didn't ask questions, didn't wait for permission, just wrapped his arm around her shoulders and dragged him toward the stairwell. The heat was unbearable. The ceiling groaned above them. Debris rained down. But she kept moving, kept pulling him forward. When a support beam crashed inches from his head, she threw herself between him and the flames. That's when the wood caught her arm. He heard her gasp, saw the burn spreading across her skin, but she didn't let go. "Stay with me," she'd said. Firm, unwavering. And he did. Now standing in the rain, Marcus sees the exact same scar. The burn that saved his life. "Kendra, stop." His voice cuts through the storm. "Please." She freezes. Doesn't turn around. "What happened to you?" he asks, quieter now. The question feels too big, too impossible. She saved him, risked her life. And somehow, she ended up here, begging in the rain. It doesn't make sense. It can't make sense. Kendra's shoulders shake. Not from the cold this time. When she finally turned around, her eyes are red. "You really want to know?" she whispers. And the way she says it, like the answer might destroy both of them, makes Marcus's blood run cold. "Kendra, what are you doing out here?" Marcus's voice cracks on the question. He needs to understand. Needs to know how someone who saved his life ended up on the street. Kendra wipes rain from her face, or maybe tears, he can't tell anymore. "I was fired," she says flatly. 3 months after the fire. Marcus stares. "Fired? From where?" "Your building." She laughs, but there's no humor in it. "I worked housekeeping at Brennan Industries. Night shift. That's why I was there when the fire started." The words hit him like ice water. She worked for him. All along, she worked for him. "After I pulled you out, the company put me on leave. Paid at first. Said I needed time to recover from burns." She holds up her scarred arm. "Then HR called. Said they were restructuring. My position was eliminated." Just like that. Marcus's jaw tightens. "That's illegal. You were injured on the job." "They had lawyers." Kendra cuts him off. "Good ones. Said the fire wasn't their fault. So my injury wasn't their responsibility. Gave me 2 weeks severance and a paper to sign saying I wouldn't sue." She looks away, voice dropping. "I tried finding other work. But references matter. And when your last employer is a billion-dollar company that let you go after 3 years of perfect reviews." She shakes her head. "Nobody wants to touch that. They assume you did something wrong." The rain pounds harder. Kendra's whole body trembles now. "I burned through my savings in 2 months. Rent, medical bills, food. Then I couldn't pay rent anymore. Landlord evicted me. Everything I owned, clothes, photos, everything, got thrown to the curb while I was at a job interview that went nowhere." Marcus feels sick. "I've been out here 6 weeks," she continues. "Sleeping in shelters when there's space. Streets when there's not. And you know the worst part?" She finally meets his eyes. "I don't regret saving you. I'd do it again. But nobody cares that I risked my life for someone else. They see me sitting here, and all they see is someone who must have deserved it somehow." The words hang in the air between them. Marcus wants to say something, anything, but his throat won't work. Because she's right. He never followed up. Never checked on her. Never made sure the woman who saved his life was okay. He just went back to his world and forgot. "So that's what I'm doing out here," Kendra says quietly. "Trying to survive another day." Thunder rumbles overhead. And Marcus realizes he's about to make a choice that will change everything. That can't be the whole story. Marcus steps closer, rain streaming down his face. Someone had to help. Someone had to help. Kendra's voice goes sharp. "You mean like the people walking past me right now?" She gestures at the sidewalk. Dozens of people rushing by, umbrellas up, eyes averted. Not one of them slows down. Nobody helps, she says. Not really. Marcus shakes his head. There are programs, shelters, resources. Full. Kendra's laugh is bitter. The shelters are full by 5 p.m. And those resources you're talking about? They require addresses, bank accounts, things I don't have anymore. She takes a breath, steadying herself. But you know what the real problem is? People don't care who you saved once they see the color of your skin. The words hit Marcus like a physical blow. Kendra keeps going, voice rising now. You think I'm out here because I didn't try hard enough? Because I made bad choices? I worked 3 jobs before the fire. Never missed a shift. Never complained. Did everything right. Her hands shake as she speaks. But the second I needed help, the second I wasn't useful anymore, I became invisible. And if you're black and invisible in this city, she gestures at herself. This is where you end up. Marcus opens his mouth, but she cuts him off. Don't tell me it's not about race. I've watched white folks get help I couldn't access. Watched them get second chances while I got doors slammed in my face. So yeah, maybe I'm angry. Maybe I'm tired of pretending it doesn't matter. The rain hammers between them. I saved your life, Kendra says, voice breaking. I didn't ask what you looked like. Didn't check your bank account first. I just did what was right. She wipes her eyes roughly. But when I needed saving, when I needed someone to do what was right, nobody came. If you believe people deserve dignity, regardless of who they are or what they look like, comment, I stand for justice, right now. The ones scrolling past won't. Don't be like them. Marcus feels the weight of her words settling into his chest like concrete. She's right. About all of it. He thinks about his life, the board meetings, the charity galas, the speeches about corporate responsibility. All those empty words about giving back and supporting communities. And the woman who saved him was working night shift, cleaning his offices for minimum wage. How much did we pay you? He asks quietly. Kendra flinches at the question. $12 an hour, she says. No benefits. $12. Marcus spends more than that on coffee. And after the fire? After you were injured saving me? His voice goes cold. We threw you away. It's not a question. It's a fact. Kendra looks at him, surprise flickering across her face. Like she expected him to defend his company, to make excuses. But Marcus is done making excuses. I'm sorry, he says. The words feel pathetically inadequate. I'm so sorry. Kendra stares at him for a long moment. Then she does something unexpected. She laughs. Not a happy laugh. Not even a bitter one. A laugh that sounds like something inside her just broke. Marcus feels the guilt hit him in waves. He remembers the hospital. The way he told the paramedics to take care of her. The way he'd promised, actually promised, that she'd be looked after. And then he forgot. How did he forget? How does someone forget the person who saved their life? But he knows the answer. It's the same reason everyone walks past Kendra now, without seeing her. Because it was easier. Because his life moved on. Because there were meetings and deals and 1,000 things that felt more urgent than following up on a promise made in the chaos of a burning building. I looked for you, he says, though the words feel hollow. After the fire, I sent my assistant to find you. Kendra's expression doesn't change. For how long? Marcus hesitates. A week. Maybe 2. And then, he doesn't answer. Can't answer. You went back to your life, Kendra says softly. I don't blame you for that. Rich people don't think about the help. We're not supposed to matter once the job is done. That's not, Marcus starts, but she cuts him off. Yes, it is. Her voice is tired now. Resigned. I knew it then. I know it now. The only difference is I thought maybe, just maybe, saving your life would matter more than cleaning your floors. The rain feels colder now. Marcus's expensive suit clings to him, heavy and useless. He thinks about the last year. The promotions he gave. The bonuses. The people he rewarded for making him richer. and Kendra got fired. What can I do? The question comes out raw, desperate. Kendra looks at him like he just asked something impossible. Do. She shakes her head. You can't fix this. You can't snap your fingers and give me my life back. It doesn't work that way. Then tell me what does work. Kendra's eyes search his face, looking for something. Sincerity, maybe. Or proof that he's not just another rich person trying to feel better about himself. You really want to know? She asks. Yes. She takes a shaky breath. Stop pretending people like me don't exist until you need us. Stop paying poverty wages and calling it opportunity. Stop acting like hard work is all it takes when the system is rigged from the start. Her voice cracks. And maybe, just maybe, remember that the person who saved your life is a person. Not a story you tell at parties. Not a line item you cut to save money. A person. The words cut deeper than anything else she said. Because he has told the story. At dinners. At conferences. The dramatic rescue that could have ended his life. But he never mentioned her name. Never followed up to see if she was okay. He made her disappear from his own story. I failed you, Marcus says quietly. I made you a promise, and I failed. Kendra doesn't argue. Doesn't comfort him. She just stands there, soaking wet and exhausted, while the rain washes away whatever hope she had left. Marcus reaches into his jacket. His hand closes around his wallet. But before he can pull it out, Kendra speaks. If you're about to offer me money, she says, voice flat, don't. Marcus freezes. Why not? Because I don't want your guilt money. Kendra's eyes flash. I want to know why you're really here. Why you stopped instead of walking past like everyone else. The question catches him off guard. Because I recognized you, he says. Because you saved my life. No. Kendra steps closer, rain streaming between them. You recognized me 5 minutes ago. But you stopped before that. You were staring at me before you knew who I was. Marcus's throat goes tight. She's right. He saw her slumped against the wall, and something in him couldn't keep walking. I don't know, he admits. I just couldn't leave you there. Why? Kendra pushes. You walk past people every day. What made me different? Because you look broken, Marcus says, the words coming out harsher than he means. Because you looked like someone who used to be strong, and life beat it out of you. And I couldn't. He stops. Swallows hard. I couldn't stand seeing that. Kendra's expression softens slightly. Just slightly. Most people can stand it just fine, she says quietly. The rain pounds around them. Marcus's driver has given up honking. The restaurant reservation is definitely gone by now. He doesn't care. Let me help you, Marcus says. Not because I feel guilty, though I do. Not because I owe you, though I do. But because it's the right thing to do. Kendra studies him. And tomorrow? Next week? When helping me gets inconvenient. Then I'll still help you. You don't know that. You're right, Marcus admits. I don't. But I'm asking you to let me try. He extends his hand. Not to give her money. Not to pull her up. Just reaching out, palm open, offering something bigger than cash. Offering a chance. Kendra stares at his hand like it might burn her. I've heard promises before, she says. They don't mean much. I know. And you still expect me to trust you? No, Marcus says honestly. I expect you to give me a chance to prove I'm different. The seconds stretch out. People rush past them, oblivious. The rain hammers down. Kendra looks at his hand. Then at his face. Then back at his hand. If I do this, she says slowly, and you disappear again. I won't. You don't know that. You're right. Marcus keeps his hand extended. But neither do you. So let's find out together. Something shifts in Kendra's expression. Not trust exactly. More like exhaustion mixed with the faintest spark of hope. She looks at his hand one more time. Then, slowly, so slowly it feels like the world is holding its breath, she reaches out. Her fingers are freezing, trembling. But when they touch his palm, Marcus closes his hand gently around hers. Neither of them moves. They just stand there in the rain, hands clasped, two people from completely different worlds, connected by a single moment of choice. "Thank you," Marcus whispers. Kendra's grip tightens. "Just slightly. Don't thank me yet," she says. "Thank me when you prove you mean it." Marcus nods. "Where do we start?" Kendra looks down at herself, soaking wet, exhausted, holding a cardboard sign that's nothing but pulp now. "Food," she says. "I haven't eaten in 2 days." The simple honesty of it breaks something in Marcus's chest. "Then let's get you food," he says. "And then we figure out the rest." He starts to lead her toward his car, but Kendra pulls back. "Not in that," she says, nodding at the black luxury sedan. "People will think I'm getting arrested." Marcus looks at his car, then at Kendra, then at the diner across the street, the kind of place he hasn't been to in 20 years. "The diner," he suggests. Kendra almost smiles. The diner. And for the first time since he saw her on that curb, Marcus feels like maybe, just maybe, they both have a chance at getting this right. The diner coffee tastes like rust, but Marcus doesn't care. He's too busy watching Kendra devour a plate of eggs and toast like it's the first real meal she's had in weeks. Because it probably is. "Tell me exactly what happened when they fired you," he says, pulling out his phone. "Names, dates, everything." Kendra pauses mid-bite. "Why?" "Because something doesn't add up." She swallows, thinking. "The woman who called me was Diane Fletcher, head of HR. She said the decision came from above, restructuring, budget cuts, the usual corporate speak." Marcus types rapidly. "What date?" "October 19th. Last year." His fingers freeze over the screen. October 19th. 3 weeks after the fire. 3 weeks after the media ran stories about the heroic employee who saved billionaire Marcus Brennan from certain death. "Did they give you paperwork?" he asks. Kendra nods, reaching into a plastic bag. Everything she owns fits in one bag now. She pulls out a crumpled folder, pages water-stained and worn from being carried everywhere. Marcus spreads the termination letter on the sticky diner table. His eyes scan the document. Standard corporate language. Position eliminated. Budget constraints. 2 weeks severance. Then he sees it. The signature at the bottom. Diane Fletcher's name typed neatly. But the signature itself looks wrong. Too smooth. Too perfect. Marcus pulls up his company's HR database on his phone, access he rarely uses but technically owns. He finds Diane Fletcher's employee file. Scrolls to her signature samples from other documents. They don't match. "Son of a," he stops himself. Looks up at Kendra. "This signature is fake." Kendra goes still. "What?" "The signature on your termination letter doesn't match Diane Fletcher's actual signature. Someone forged it." He keeps digging, fingers flying across his phone. October 19th. He pulls up the board meeting minutes from that week. No mention of restructuring. No mention of eliminating housekeeping positions. In fact, according to the financial reports, housekeeping staff was increased that quarter. "You were never supposed to be fired," Marcus says slowly. "Someone manufactured this." Kendra's fork clatters to her plate. "Who?" Marcus keeps scrolling. Then he finds it, a flag in the system. An override code used to process Kendra's termination outside normal HR protocols. The code belongs to Gerald Moss, VP of Operations. The same man who was supposed to ensure fire safety protocols were followed. The same man whose department would have been liable if the fire investigation found negligence. "He buried you," Marcus says, voice going cold. The fire investigation was looking at operational failures. If they found out management ignored safety violations, Gerald would have taken the fall. But if the hero employee suddenly disappeared, fired quietly, no questions asked, there'd be no one to testify about the conditions that caused the fire. Kendra's face drains of color. "He destroyed my life to cover his own mistakes." "Yes." The diner suddenly feels too small, too loud. Marcus's hands shake with rage he hasn't felt in years. I trusted these people, he says. I trusted them to run my company ethically. And they threw you away like garbage to save themselves. Kendra doesn't speak, just stares at the termination letter like it's a weapon that's been pointed at her all along. If corruption like this makes your blood boil, if you can't stand watching powerful people destroy innocent lives to save themselves, hit like right now. Show that this matters. Marcus stands abruptly. Get your things. Where are we going? His jaw sets. To get you justice. Kendra looks at him. This billionaire she saved, who forgot her, who found her again by accident, and sees something dangerous in his eyes. Something that looks like war. The emergency board meeting starts at 8 a.m. sharp. Marcus called it at 11 p.m. the night before. Mandatory attendance. No exceptions. Now 12 executives sit around the mahogany table, confused and irritated. Gerald Moss sits 3 seats down. Checking his watch like this is wasting his time. Kendra stands in the corner, still wearing the donated clothes Marcus bought her last night. She looks terrified. Marcus looks ready to burn the building down. Thank you all for coming, Marcus says, voice ice cold. We have a serious problem. Gerald shifts in his seat. Marcus, with all respect, couldn't this have waited until? No. Marcus cuts him off. It couldn't. He pulls up a photo on the conference room screen. Kendra's termination letter. Enlarged so everyone can see the forged signature. Does anyone recognize this document? The room goes quiet. Gerald's face stays carefully neutral, but his knuckles go white, gripping his pen. Diane Fletcher, the actual HR director, leans forward. That's a termination letter, but I didn't sign it. I know, Marcus says. Because Gerald did. Gerald's head snaps up. That's absurd. I don't process terminations. That's not my department. Marcus clicks to the next slide. The override code. Gerald's digital signature. Timestamp. Your code. Your authorization. Processed outside normal HR channels 3 weeks after the fire that nearly killed me. The room erupts in murmurs. Gerald stands, face flushing. There's an explanation. Let me guess, Marcus interrupts. The fire investigation was getting too close. They were about to find the safety violations your department ignored. The faulty wiring. The blocked exits. The fire extinguishers that hadn't been inspected in 3 years. Gerald's mouth opens, closes, opens again. So you got rid of the witness, Marcus continues. The employee who was there, who could testify about conditions your department was responsible for maintaining. He gestures to Kendra. You fired the woman who saved my life to save your own career. Is this true? Diane Fletcher's voice shakes. Gerald, did you do this? All eyes turn to Gerald. He's sweating now, tie suddenly too tight. The investigation was threatening the entire company, he says, voice rising. If they found operational negligence, we'd have been liable for millions. I was protecting. You were protecting yourself, Marcus says. And you destroyed an innocent woman's life to do it. Kendra steps forward. Her voice is quiet but steady. I reported the safety violations 4 times, she says. In writing. To your department. You ignored every single one. Gerald turns to her, and something ugly crosses his face. You're a housekeeper. You don't understand operational. I understand that people could have died, Kendra says louder now. I understand that you valued money over safety. And when your choices almost killed someone, you blamed me for it. The room goes silent. Marcus looks at his board. Gerald Moss is fired, effective immediately. Security will escort him out. Diane, I want a full audit of every termination he authorized in the last 2 years. Gerald sputters. You can't. I own 60% of this company, Marcus says coldly. Watch me. Security appears at the door. Gerald looks around the table, desperate for support. No one meets his eyes. As he's let out, Marcus turns to Kendra. "I'm sorry," he says in front of everyone, "for what happened to you, for what my company allowed to happen. You deserved better." Kendra's eyes shine. With tears, she refuses to let fall. "Thank you," she whispers. And for the first time in months, she stands a little taller. 3 days later, Marcus calls Kendra to his office. She walks in expecting another apology, maybe a settlement check, some kind of closure. What she doesn't expect is the proposal. "I want to create a foundation," Marcus says, sliding a folder across his desk. "For domestic workers. Fair wages, health care, job protection, everything you should have had." Kendra opens the folder. Budget projections, mission statements, resources. "That's good," she says carefully. "Really good. And I want you to run it." Her head snaps up. "What?" "You know what workers need because you lived it. You know the system because it broke you. You're the only person qualified to do this right." Kendra stares at him. "I don't have a college degree. I don't have management experience. I don't." "You have something better," Marcus interrupts. "You have truth. And you're not afraid to speak it." Kendra sets the folder down, hands shaking. "What if I fail? What if you succeed?" The question hangs between them. She thinks about the streets, the shelters, the people who ignored her, the system that chewed her up and spit her out. "I don't know how to run a foundation," she admits. "Neither did I when I started my company," Marcus says. "But I learned. And you will too." Kendra looks at the folder again, at the mission statement written in corporate language that sounds hollow and empty. "Can I rewrite this?" she asks. Marcus blinks. "What?" "The mission statement. It sounds like every other charity that doesn't actually help people." She meets his eyes. "If I'm doing this, I'm doing it right. No corporate speak. No pretending. Just real help for real people. Subscribe if you believe people like Kendra, people who've lived through hell and came out fighting, deserve to lead. The manipulators and trolls won't. Prove you're different." A slow smile spreads across Marcus's face. "Rewrite whatever you want." Kendra takes a deep breath. "Okay, I'll do it." Yeah. She picks up the folder. "But I have conditions." Marcus leans back. "Name them." Transparency. Every dollar accounted for. Workers on the board, not just executives. And no PR stunts. This isn't about making your company look good. It's about actually changing lives. Marcus extends his hand. "Deal." They shake. This time, Kendra's grip is firm. Steady. No more trembling. No more fear. Just purpose. "When do I start?" she asks. Marcus grins. "You already did." 2 months later, the Kendra Willis Foundation launches officially. But the work started the day Kendra accepted the position. First move: wage audit across every domestic worker in Brennan Industries. Minimum raised to $18 an hour. Healthcare included. Paid sick leave mandatory. 17 other companies follow suit within weeks. Kendra stands in a community center, facing 200 domestic workers, housekeepers, nannies, home health aides. All of them exhausted. All of them underpaid. All of them listening. "You deserve dignity," Kendra says. No script. No corporate polish. Just truth. Not as a favor. Not as charity. As a right. The room erupts in applause. The foundation opens a hotline. Worker Protection Services. Legal aid. Emergency housing assistance. Within the first month, 300 calls. By the second month, over 1,000. Stories pour in. Workers fired unfairly. Wages stolen. Conditions ignored. And now, for the first time, someone's listening. A nanny named Rita calls. Her employer hasn't paid her in 6 weeks. The foundation sends a lawyer. Rita gets her wages plus damages within 10 days. A housekeeper named Carlos reports safety violations at a hotel chain. The foundation investigates. OSHA gets involved. Conditions improve across all locations. A home health aide named Tasha loses her job for taking time off when her kid got sick. The foundation fights back. She's reinstated with back pay and an apology. Kendra works 16-hour days. Learning, growing, fighting. She hires staff, all former workers like her. People who know what it's like. People who care. The foundation becomes something rare, an organization that actually does what it promises. News outlets pick up the story. From homeless to hope. How one woman is changing worker rights. Kendra does interviews. She doesn't hide her past. Doesn't soften it. I was begging in the rain 2 months ago, she tells a reporter. Now I'm making sure no one else has to. That's not a miracle. That's just what happens when someone gives a damn. The clip goes viral. Marcus watches from his office as Kendra speaks at a city council meeting, pushing for new worker protections. She's confident now. Powerful. Nothing like the broken woman he found in the rain. You did good, his assistant says. Marcus shakes his head. She did good. I just got out of her way. By the end of the quarter, the foundation has helped over 3,000 workers. Recovered $2.4 million in stolen wages. Changed policy in 14 cities. And Kendra stands at the center of it all. Not as a victim, not as a charity case, but as a force. One evening, she gets a call. Unknown number. Kendra Willis, a woman's voice asks. Shaking. Desperate. Yes. I need help. I don't know where else to turn. Kendra grabs a pen. Tell me everything. And the cycle continues. The manila envelope appears on Kendra's desk on a Tuesday morning. No return address. No note. Just her name typed on the front in plain black letters. She almost throws it away, probably another donation request or media inquiry. But something about it feels wrong. Too plain. Too deliberate. She opens it. Inside, a single USB drive. Kendra plugs it into her laptop. One video file. No label. She clicks play. Security footage. Grainy. Black and white. Timestamp, October 2nd, last year. The night of the fire. Her breath catches. The footage shows the third-floor hallway of Brennan Industries. Empty at first. Then a figure appears. Male. Tall. Moving quickly through the corridor. He stops outside the electrical room, the room where investigators said the fire started. He looks around, checks his watch, then pulls something from his jacket. A lighter. Kendra's hand flies to her mouth. The man on the screen opens the electrical panel. Does something inside, she can't see what. Then he holds the lighter to exposed wiring. Sparks. Smoke. He steps back, watching, waiting. When the flames catch, he doesn't run. He stands there for 15 seconds. She counts them, making sure the fire spreads. Then he walks away, calm, unhurried. The figure passes under a hallway light. Just for a moment. But it's enough. Kendra recognizes the face. Gerald Moss. Her stomach lurches. The room spins. Gerald didn't just cover up the fire. He started it. And she walked right into it. Saved Marcus from a building Gerald deliberately set ablaze. Why would he do this? What could possibly be worth burning down a building with people inside? The video keeps playing. Another camera angle now. Shows Gerald leaving through a side exit. No alarm triggered. No panic. He knew the route. Knew the cameras. Knew exactly where to go. This wasn't negligence. This was planned. Kendra's hands shake as she rewinds the footage. Watches it again. Looking for something, anything, that explains this. Then she sees it. Background of the first shot. Before Gerald appears. Another figure, barely visible, entering Marcus's office 3 floors below. The timestamp shows 11:47 p.m. The fire started at 11:53. 6 minutes. Someone was in Marcus's office when the fire began. Someone who would have been trapped. This wasn't about covering up safety violations. This was about getting someone killed. Who sent her this footage? Why now, months after Gerald was fired? And more importantly, who was in that office? Kendra picks up her phone, calls Marcus. It goes to voicemail. She tries his assistant. No answer. A text from an unknown number appears on her screen. Watch the whole thing. Check the office footage. Her blood runs cold. She clicks on the second file on the USB drive. New footage. Marcus's office. The camera shows him working late, alone at his desk. He checks his watch, stands, grabs his coat. Then the timestamp hits 11:52 p.m. 1 minute before the fire starts. Marcus leaves his office, and Gerald had no way of knowing he'd left early. Kendra calls Marcus again. This time he answers. Get to my office. Now. Kendra, I'm in a meeting. Gerald tried to kill you. Silence. Then, I'll be there in 5 minutes. Marcus watches the footage 3 times. His face goes from confusion to shock to cold, deadly rage. He started the fire, Marcus says quietly. He deliberately set it. Not just that. Kendra rewinds to the office footage. Look at the timestamp. He thought you'd still be in there. You left 1 minute before the fire started. Marcus leans closer to the screen, sees himself leaving, sees the flames spreading seconds later. If he'd stayed at his desk another 60 seconds, he'd be dead. Why? Marcus's voice shakes. Why would he try to kill me? Kendra pulls up another file on the USB. Financial documents. Company records. Gerald's digital signature everywhere. Embezzlement, she says. He's been siphoning money for 3 years. Small amounts. Buried in operational budgets where no one would notice. She scrolls through the ledgers. Until you announced the audit. October 1st. You were going to review every department's spending. Marcus remembers. The board meeting. His announcement that they'd be conducting comprehensive financial reviews to improve efficiency. Gerald had gone pale. Made excuses about why operations shouldn't be included in the first round. Marcus had overruled him. He knew I'd find the missing money, Marcus says slowly. So he tried to kill me and make it look like an accident. And blame it on faulty wiring, Kendra adds, which he could then pin on maintenance staff or contractors. Anyone but himself. Marcus turns to her. You stopped it. If you hadn't pulled me out. I didn't know, Kendra says. Her voice cracks. I thought I was saving you from an accident. I had no idea someone wanted you dead. The weight of it hits her. She didn't just save his life. She foiled a murder plot. And Gerald destroyed her life in revenge. He fired you because you were a witness, Marcus says. Not just to the conditions, to the fire itself. If you testified, if anyone looked too closely at what you saw that night, they'd have found out it was arson, Kendra finishes. Marcus slams his fist on the desk. The coffee cup jumps. He tried to kill me. And when that failed, he tried to erase you. Make you disappear so you couldn't connect the dots. Comment, everyone deserves respect. If you can't stand people who'd rather murder someone than face consequences. Show Gerald that hiding won't save him. Kendra scrolls through more documents. There's more. He wasn't working alone. She pulls up email chains. Coded language about resolving the audit problem and eliminating obstacles. Names Marcus recognizes. Board members. Executives. How deep does this go, he asks. Deep enough that someone just sent me evidence to expose it, Kendra says. Someone on the inside who wants this stopped. Marcus stares at the screen. At the footage of Gerald calmly setting fire. At the financial records showing years of theft. At the emails proving conspiracy. We take this to the police, he says. Right now. And the media, Kendra adds. If there are others involved, we need public pressure to make sure they all go down. Marcus looks at her. This woman who saved his life without knowing she was stopping a murder. This woman who suffered because she did the right thing. You ready to fight? He asks. Kendra's jaw sets. I've been fighting since the day I met you. Now, I'm just fighting with proof. They gather the evidence. Call the lawyers. Contact the district attorney's office. Within 2 hours, detectives arrive to collect the USB drive and documents. Within 4 hours, arrest warrants are issued. By evening, the news breaks. Billionaire's VP arrested for attempted murder and embezzlement. Gerald Moss is taken into custody outside his home. Cameras catch him in handcuffs, face red with rage, screaming about false accusations. But the footage doesn't lie. Kendra watches the arrest on the news from Marcus's office. She doesn't feel triumphant, doesn't feel vindicated. She feels tired and angry that it took this long. He destroyed my life, she says quietly. And he would have done worse if I hadn't been there that night. Marcus sits beside her. But you were there, and now he's going to pay. Kendra's phone buzzes. Another unknown number. Another text. The others are watching. Be careful. She shows Marcus. His expression darkens. This isn't over. The press conference happens 3 days later. Police recommendation. Let the investigation proceed quietly. Keep media involvement minimal. Kendra's response. No. People need to know the truth. So here they are. Cameras. Reporters. Questions shouted from every direction. Marcus stands at the podium. Kendra beside him. 13 months ago, a fire nearly killed me, Marcus begins. The official story was faulty wiring. Negligence. An unfortunate accident. He pauses, letting the weight settle. That was a lie. The room erupts. Reporters surge forward. Marcus raises a hand. Gerald Moss, former VP of operations at Brennan Industries, deliberately set that fire. Security footage confirms he entered the electrical room, tampered with wiring, and used a lighter to ignite the blaze. His motive was simple, Marcus continues. I'd announced a financial audit that would have exposed years of embezzlement. Rather than face consequences, he attempted murder. He turns to Kendra. And this woman, Kendra Willis, stopped him. She ran into that burning building, pulled me out, and saved my life. Without knowing she'd just foiled a murder plot. Cameras flash. Kendra stands frozen under the attention. In retaliation, Marcus says, voice hardening. Gerald Moss forged documents to have Kendra fired. He destroyed her career, her housing, her livelihood. He tried to erase her so she couldn't become a witness to his crime. A reporter shouts, "Where is she now?" Marcus steps aside. "She's here. And she's going to tell you exactly what happened." Kendra approaches the microphone. Her hands grip the podium. "I was homeless 2 months ago," she says. Voice steady, strong. Begging in the rain because a man decided my life was worth less than his secrets. The room goes silent. I saved someone's life and got punished for it. Not because I did anything wrong, but because I was inconvenient. Because I was black and poor and someone he thought he could throw away without consequences. But here's what he didn't count on, Kendra continues. I'm still here. And I'm not the only one. There are thousands of workers like me, people who do everything right and still get crushed by systems designed to protect the powerful. Her voice rises. So this isn't just about me. It's about every person who's been silenced, every worker who's been thrown away, every voice that's been ignored. A detective steps forward, explains the charges: attempted murder, arson, embezzlement, obstruction of justice. Mr. Moss stole over $3.7 million from Brennan Industries over 3 years, the detective says. When he realized he'd been caught, he chose murder over accountability. Reporters scribble frantically. Cameras stay locked on Kendra. Additional arrests are pending, the detective adds. Others were involved. We're investigating the full scope of the conspiracy. A reporter asks Kendra, "What do you want people to know?" She thinks for a moment. That doing the right thing shouldn't cost you everything. That workers deserve protection, not punishment. And that justice isn't just for people with money and power. Within hours, the story goes national, then international. Hero worker homeless after saving billionaire's life. VP arrested for murder attempt. Social media explodes. Hashtags trend. People share their own stories of workplace injustice. The conversation shifts. It's not just about Kendra anymore. It's bigger. Gerald Moss's trial is scheduled for next month. Bail denied. Evidence overwhelming. His lawyer tries spinning the story. Fails miserably. The footage doesn't care about spin. That night, Kendra receives flowers. Dozens of bouquets. Cards from strangers thanking her, supporting her. One card stands out. Handwritten. No signature. You started something that can't be stopped. Thank you. She doesn't know who sent it, but she feels it, the ripple turning into a wave. 6 months later, Kendra stands on a stage in front of 800 people. Not as a victim, not as a charity case, as a leader. The National Worker Advocacy Summit invited her as keynote speaker. Her foundation now operates in 12 states. She's testified before Congress twice. Changed laws in 6 cities. She's become something bigger than herself. After the speech, people line up. Workers wanting advice. Activists seeking partnerships. Journalists requesting interviews. A young woman approaches, hands shaking. I was fired for reporting harassment. Nobody believed me. But I saw what you did, and I kept fighting. We just won our lawsuit. Kendra hugs her. Keep going. Your voice matters. This happens everywhere now. People seeing themselves in her story. Finding courage. Kendra travels constantly. Universities. Community centers. Corporate conferences. She doesn't sugarcoat. Doesn't perform. Systems don't change because we ask nicely, she tells a room full of CEOs. They change because we force them to. Because we make it more expensive to exploit people than to treat them right. Half the room applauds. The other half looks uncomfortable. Good. Discomfort means they're listening. Marcus attends many of her events. Always in the back. Never seeking credit. He funds the foundation quietly. Connects Kendra with resources. Opens doors she couldn't open alone. But he doesn't interfere. Doesn't try to control the narrative. This is your work, he tells her. I'm just making sure you have what you need to do it. Their partnership works because he learned to step back. To amplify instead of overshadow. The foundation's hotline receives 500 calls per week now. They've recovered over $18 million in stolen wages. Helped 3,000 workers find stable employment. Policy changes spread. Minimum wage increases. Mandatory benefits. Worker protection boards. It's not enough. It's never enough. But it's progress. Kendra rents an apartment now. Small but hers. She fills it with photos, people she's helped, places she's spoken, moments that matter. She doesn't forget the rain, the cardboard sign, the feeling of being invisible. She uses it, channels it into every speech, every policy fight, every worker she helps. Subscribe if you stand against injustice and the people who enable it. The ones scrolling past won't fight for change. Show you're different. Marcus and Kendra meet monthly. Review foundation progress. Plan next initiatives. But they've also become friends. Real friends. You changed my life, Marcus says during one meeting. Kendra laughs. Pretty sure I just saved it. No. You changed it. Made me see what I was ignoring. Who I was ignoring. She nods. Good. Don't forget. I won't. Media calls Kendra the voice of invisible workers. Politicians reference her story. Companies change policies to avoid becoming the next scandal she exposes. She didn't ask for this platform, but she's using it. One evening, Kendra sits in her apartment, reviews the week's cases, plans next month's advocacy schedule. Her phone rings. Another worker needing help. Another fight to fight. She answers without hesitation. Tell me everything. Because this is who she is now. Not a victim. Not a survivor. A force for change. and she's just getting started. The package arrives on the anniversary. Exactly 1 year since Marcus found Kendra in the rain. 1 year since everything changed. She opens it in her office, the real office now, with her name on the door and a view of the city she's helping transform. Inside, a framed photograph and a handwritten letter. The photo stops her cold. It's from the night of the fire, taken by a news photographer who captured the aftermath. Kendra sees herself, younger, terrified, arm wrapped in gauze. She's sitting on the back of an ambulance, staring at the burning building like she can't believe what just happened. And beside her, barely visible in the smoke and chaos, Marcus is looking at her. Not at the fire, not at the cameras, at her. Kendra's hands shake as she unfolds the letter. Kendra, I never forgot. People think I did. Maybe I let them think that because it was easier than admitting the truth, that I remembered you every single day and did nothing about it. I told myself I tried to find you, that my assistant looked, that you'd disappeared and there was nothing more I could do. Those were lies I told myself so I could sleep at night. The truth is I got busy. I got comfortable. I went back to my life and let you fade into a story I told at dinner parties, the heroic employee who saved me. Nameless, faceless, convenient. I didn't forget your face. I forgot your humanity. I forgot that you were a real person with a real life that continued after you saved mine. I forgot that heroes don't stop being people just because their heroic moment ends. And that forgetting, that comfortable, selfish forgetting, almost cost you everything. Finding you in the rain wasn't an accident. It was a gift I didn't deserve. A second chance to do what I should have done a year earlier. You changed my life twice. Once by saving it. Once by showing me what it means to actually live it with purpose. Kendra's vision blurs. She wipes her eyes, keeps reading. I know apologies don't undo harm. I know words don't replace the months you spent suffering because of my negligence and Gerald's cruelty. But I want you to know I see you. Not as a story. Not as a symbol. As Kendra. As the person who ran into fire without hesitation and somehow kept her humanity intact through everything that followed. You asked me once if I'd still be here when helping you got inconvenient. I can't prove the answer with words. Only with time. So I'll keep showing up. Keep supporting your work. Keep using whatever privilege I have to amplify your voice. Not because I owe you, though I do. Because it's right. And you taught me what that means. Thank you for saving my life. Thank you for changing it. Thank you for not giving up on yourself, on justice, on the belief that people can do better. I never forgot. And I never will again. Marcus. Kendra sets the letter down. Stares at the photograph again. At the younger version of herself who had no idea what was coming. Who thought saving someone's life would matter. Who learned the hard way that mattering depends on who you are, not what you do. And at Marcus, looking at her through the smoke. Already forgetting. Already moving on. Except he wasn't. Not completely. Somewhere in him, the memory stayed. Waiting for the moment that would force him to act on it. She picks up her phone. Texts Marcus. Thank you. For the letter. For showing up. For not giving up on doing better. His response comes immediately. Thank you for giving me the chance. Kendra frames the letter beside the photograph. Hangs them in her office, where she can see them every day. Not as a reminder of pain. As proof that acknowledgement matters. That truth matters. That sometimes, not always, but sometimes, people can learn. Can change. Can choose to do better. She sits at her desk, looking at the framed memory, and realizes something. She's not angry anymore. Not at Marcus, at least. The anger is still there, burning, righteous, necessary. But now it's focused where it belongs. On the systems. On the structures. On the people who built them and maintain them. And she's going to dismantle them piece by piece. 18 months after the rain, the Kendra Willis Foundation operates in 23 states. Staff of 40. Budget in the millions. Impact beyond measure. But the numbers don't tell the real story. The real story is in the faces. Kendra sits across from Patrice, a 52-year-old housekeeper fired after reporting sexual harassment. They said I was making trouble, Patrice says, voice hollow. Said I was disrupting workplace harmony. Kendra nods. She's heard this exact phrase hundreds of times. What they meant, Kendra says, is you were disrupting their ability to ignore abuse. Patrice's eyes widen. Like someone finally named the thing she couldn't say. Here's what we're going to do, Kendra continues. Document everything. Every incident. Every witness. Every time they discourage you from reporting. She slides a folder across the table. Then we file with the EOC. And if they retaliate further, we go public. I can't afford a lawyer, Patrice says. You have one. That's what we do here. This conversation happens daily. Different faces. Same story. Workers punished for doing the right thing. Silenced. Discarded. Erased. Until they find the foundation. Until they find Kendra. 3 months later, Patrice wins her case. Full back pay. Policy changes. Public apology. She returns to thank Kendra, but Kendra stops her. Don't thank me. Help the next person. Pass it forward. Patrice does. Becomes a volunteer. Helps other workers navigate the same system that tried to destroy her. This is how the foundation grows. Not just with money and lawyers. With people who were helped becoming people who help. Kendra builds programs others said were impossible. Emergency housing fund for workers facing eviction. Educational scholarships. Mental health services specifically for domestic workers. You can't fight for your rights if you're worried about where you'll sleep tonight, she tells donors. Security first. Advocacy second. Critics call it radical. She calls it basic humanity. How many people do you pass every day without seeing them? The person cleaning your office, delivering your food, caring for your kids. They have stories too. Struggles you never notice. Would you fight for them? Or would you look away like everyone else? Kendra launches a leadership program. Trains workers to become advocates for their communities. Teaches them to speak up. Organize. Demand change. They want you quiet, she tells each cohort. So be loud. They want you invisible. So take up space. They want you grateful. So demand what you deserve. 15 workers graduate the first year. Within months, they've organized 3 unions, changed policy in 6 companies, helped hundreds of their peers. The foundation's impact multiplies exponentially. Not because Kendra does everything herself. Because she empowers others to do it with her. I'm not a savior, she says during interviews. I'm a door opener. People save themselves. I just remove some of the barriers. Kendra looks different now. Carries herself differently. Not because she's wealthy, she's not. The foundation pays her a modest salary. Less than she could make elsewhere. But she has something money can't buy. Purpose. Community. Proof that her life matters. Workers across the country know her name now. Call her when they're in trouble. When they need guidance. When they need someone who understands. And she answers. Every time. You saved me once, a worker tells her. By showing me I wasn't alone. Kendra smiles. Now you do the same for someone else. Late one night. Kendra reviews applications for the next leadership cohort. One name catches her eye. The application is exceptional, passionate, experienced. She flips to the personal statement. The first line, I was homeless last year. Someone told me I deserved better. I'm here to tell others the same thing. Kendra accepts the application immediately. The cycle continues, growing stronger every day. Kendra walks the streets where she once begged, not as a victim returning to the scene, as someone coming full circle. She carries supplies, blankets, food, resource cards with the Foundation's hotline. But mostly, she carries presence, attention, the thing people denied her when she needed it most. A man sits against a storefront. Cardboard sign. Empty cup. Kendra stops. Sits beside him. "What's your name?" she asks. He looks suspicious. People don't usually ask. "Raymond." "Raymond, I'm Kendra. You hungry?" She hands him a sandwich. A bottle of water. Sits with him while he eats. Doesn't preach. Doesn't lecture. Just listens. Raymond tells her about the factory job he lost. The eviction notice. The daughter who stopped calling because she's ashamed. Kendra writes down the Foundation's number. "Call this tomorrow. Ask for me specifically. We'll help." "Why?" Raymond asks. "You don't know me. Someone helped me when I was where you are. Now I'm returning the favor." 3 blocks down, she finds a woman with 2 kids, sleeping in a car. Kendra gets them into emergency housing that night. Connects the woman with job training. Enrolls the kids in the Foundation's after-school program. "How can I pay you back?" the woman asks. "Help someone else when you can," Kendra says. "That's the only payment I need." She walks past the spot where Marcus found her. The brick wall. The curb. Someone else sits there now. Younger. Scared. Kendra crouches down. "Rough night." The girl nods, won't meet her eyes. "I sat right here 18 months ago," Kendra says. "Thought my life was over. Turned out it was just beginning." The girl looks up. "What changed?" "Someone saw me. Really saw me. Want me to see you. How many people could you help if you just stopped and looked? If you treated invisible people like they matter?" Justice isn't just about laws and policies. It's about seeing the person everyone else ignores. Be that person. Make that choice. Change someone's world. Kendra connects with outreach workers, shelter coordinators, people doing this work every day without recognition. She doesn't swoop in like a hero. She collaborates, amplifies, supports. "You were here before me," she tells them. "You'll be here after. I'm just helping however I can." By midnight, Kendra's distributed everything she brought. Helped 11 people connect with resources. Sat with countless others who just needed someone to acknowledge them. She stands on the corner where Marcus's car stopped, where everything changed. Rain starts falling. Light at first, then harder. A year ago, she stood here broken, invisible, disposable. Now she stands here as proof that broken things can be rebuilt, that invisible people can become impossible to ignore, that one person's compassion, imperfect, delayed, but genuine, can spark change that spreads farther than anyone imagined. Kendra pulls up her hood, walks into the rain, not running from it this time, not afraid of it, just moving through it, steady, strong, purposeful. The way she should have been able to all along. The box arrives at the Foundation 6 weeks later. Evidence from Gerald's trial. Items seized from his office. The prosecution no longer needs them. Kendra almost doesn't open it. The trial is over. Gerald serving 15 years. Justice was served. But something makes her look inside. Beneath folders and files, she finds a leather-bound journal. Gerald's handwriting. Dated entries spanning 3 years. Kendra flips through randomly. Stops on an entry from 14 months ago. 2 weeks after the fire. October 15th. The housekeeper is a problem. She was there. Saw too much. Need to eliminate the threat before investigators start asking questions. Her blood runs cold. She keeps reading. October 18th. Processed her termination. Forged Fletcher's signature. Made it look routine. She won't fight back. People like her never do. Too scared. Too powerless. Kendra's hands shake. October 22nd. Insurance investigator asked about employee witnesses. Said housekeeping staff was restructured. No one left from that shift. Problem contained. The entries continue. Each one more calculated. More cruel. November 3rd. Heard she's looking for work. Made some calls. Insured references go nowhere. Can't have her landing somewhere visible. Need her to disappear completely. He didn't just fire her. He actively sabotaged her. Called her references. Poisoned her job prospects. Ensured she'd end up on the streets. More entries. Worse ones. November 28th. She filed for unemployment. Submitted complaint about wrongful termination. Contested it. Claimed erratic behavior and performance issues. Judge ruled in company's favor. She has nothing now. Lies. All lies. Documented lies specifically designed to destroy her credibility if she ever tried to speak up. December 10th. Brennan's still asking questions about the fire. Redirected him to official reports. Emphasized faulty wiring angle. He bought it. Too busy to dig deeper. Rich people always are. Gerald knew Marcus was looking. Knew he was asking about Kendra. And he deliberately steered him away. Fed him lies. Kept them apart. January 4th. She's completely off the grid now. No apartment. No phone. No trail. Perfect. Even if she wanted to talk, who'd listen to a homeless woman with no proof and a history of instability? The word instability is in quotes. Mocking. He knew it was false. He was proud of destroying her. Kendra's vision blurs with rage. Pure, white-hot rage. Every night on the streets. Every door slammed in her face. Every person who walked past without seeing her. All of it, every single moment, was engineered by one man protecting his secrets. She flips to the final entries. Right before his arrest. February 19th. Brennan found her. Don't know how. Thought she was gone for good. This is bad. Need to figure out damage control before. The entry stops. Unfinished. Because that's when the USB drive arrived. When the evidence surfaced. When Gerald's world collapsed. Someone knew. Someone watched Gerald destroy Kendra's life step by step. And they documented everything. Waited for the right moment. Then made sure justice finally happened. Kendra flips to the inside cover of the journal. Finds a sticky note. This should have been exposed sooner. I'm sorry it wasn't. But at least now you know the full truth. DF. DF Diane Fletcher. The real head of HR. She knew. She watched. She waited until she had everything documented. Then she sent the USB drive. Triggered the investigation. Ensured Gerald couldn't escape. Kendra sits with the journal. With the proof of calculated evil. Gerald didn't just try to kill Marcus and cover it up. He methodically destroyed Kendra's entire life. Her job, her reputation, her housing, her future. To eliminate a witness. He turned her into no one. Into nothing. Into someone society would ignore. And he almost succeeded. Kendra photographs every page. Sends them to her lawyer. To the prosecutor. To the media. Attempted murder suspect also orchestrated systematic destruction of witness's life. The story explodes again. Bigger this time. Because now people see it wasn't just about stopping a murder plot. It was about what happens when powerful people decide you're inconvenient. How easily they can unmake you. How thoroughly they can erase you. And how lucky you have to be to survive it. That night, Kendra gets a call. Diane Fletcher. I'm sorry I didn't act sooner, Diane says. I was scared. I was a coward. Kendra's silent for a long moment. But you acted eventually, she finally says. That matters. Does it? After everything you went through. Kendra looks at the journal. At the evidence of evil she unknowingly confronted. Yes, she says. Because now everyone knows the truth. And truth is how we fight back. 2 years after the rain, Marcus and Kendra stand together at the Foundation's annual gala. 500 people fill the ballroom. Donors, workers, advocates, politicians, media. But Marcus asked for 5 minutes alone with Kendra before it starts. They stand on the balcony overlooking the city. The same city where she once begged. where she once felt invisible. I need to tell you something, Marcus says. When I found you in the rain, I thought I was saving you, he continues. Repaying a debt. Being a decent human for once. Kendra listens, quiet. But I was wrong. Marcus turns to face her. You didn't just save me from a fire. You saved me from becoming someone I'd hate. I was building a life where people like you didn't exist, he says. Where workers were numbers on spreadsheets. Where I could feel good about myself without actually doing good. His voice cracks slightly. You forced me to see what I was ignoring. Not just you, all of it. The systems I benefited from. The people I stepped over without noticing. The comfortable lies I told myself about merit and hard work. You didn't just save my life, Marcus says. You saved countless lives. The 3,000 workers the foundation helped. The policy changes affecting millions. The people who saw your story and found courage to fight their own battles. Kendra's eyes glisten, but she doesn't speak yet. And you saved me from being someone who'd walk past suffering and call it someone else's problem, Marcus continues. That's a bigger rescue than pulling me from a fire. I didn't do it for recognition, Kendra says quietly. I did it because it was right. I know. That's what makes it matter. She looks out at the city, at the lights spreading below them. You know what the hardest part was, she asks. Not the streets. Not the hunger. It was believing I didn't matter. That doing the right thing was meaningless because the world didn't care. Marcus nods. But you kept going anyway. I didn't have a choice. You did, he says firmly. You could have given up. Could have let bitterness destroy you. Could have decided the world was too broken to fix. He gestures toward the ballroom. Instead, you built something. You turned suffering into purpose. You proved that one person, one invisible person, can change everything. Kendra thinks about the journey, the rain, the cold, the moment she almost gave up, and the choice she made to keep fighting. Not because she knew it would lead here, but because giving up meant letting them win. Courage without recognition still changes the world, she says. I had to learn that the hard way. And now thousands of people know it because of you. It wasn't just me, Kendra says. It was every worker who spoke up, every person who refused to accept injustice, every voice that kept shouting even when no one listened. She turns to Marcus. You helped. You really did. But the change? That came from people deciding they deserved better. I just gave them a platform to say it. Marcus extends his hand. Not to shake. Not to pull her up. Just to stand beside her. Equal. Partners, he asks. Kendra takes his hand. Firm. Strong. Partners. Inside, the gala is about to begin. 500 people waiting to celebrate the foundation's success. But out here, on this balcony, the real celebration happens. Two people from completely different worlds. Connected by fire. Separated by injustice. Reunited by chance. Proving that change is possible when privilege meets purpose. When power chooses to serve instead of dominate. Ready? Marcus asks, nodding toward the ballroom. Kendra straightens her shoulders. Lifts her chin. She thinks about the woman who sat in the rain. Who believed she was nothing. That woman would be terrified to walk into a room full of powerful people. But Kendra isn't that woman anymore. Or maybe she is, just stronger, fiercer, unbreakable. Ready, she says. They walk into the ballroom together. The crowd applauds. But Kendra knows the real triumph isn't in this moment. It's in every worker who called the hotline. Every policy that changed. Every person who went from invisible to seen. That's the victory. Not the applause. The work. As Kendra takes the stage to speak, she sees them. Rows of workers in the audience. People she's helped. People who helped themselves with the foundation's support. They're not in the back. Not hidden. They're front row. Center. Visible. And when she speaks to them. For them. The way it should have been all along. 3 years after the rain. Kendra stands in front of Congress, testifying for the National Domestic Worker Bill of Rights. The chamber is packed. Workers, advocates, the media. She's no longer speaking to 500 people. She's speaking to millions. My name is Kendra Willis, she begins. 3 years ago, I was homeless, begging on the street because I saved someone's life and got punished for it. The room goes silent. Today, I run a foundation that's helped 10,000 workers reclaim their dignity, changed policy in 34 states, recovered $47 million in stolen wages. She pauses, letting the numbers sink in. But numbers don't tell the story. People do. Rita was a nanny who hadn't been paid in 2 months. She's here today. Kendra gestures. Rita stands, waves. She now runs her own childcare cooperative employing 12 people. Carlos reported safety violations and got fired. He's here. Carlos stands. He's now a workplace safety inspector, ensuring others don't face what he did. Patrice fought sexual harassment and was called a troublemaker. She's here. Patrice rises. She trains workers on their legal rights in 6 states. These aren't success stories, Kendra says. They're proof that when you give people tools instead of charity, when you respect them instead of pity them, they build their own futures. Her voice strengthens. But they shouldn't have to fight this hard. Shouldn't need a foundation to access basic dignity. Shouldn't risk everything just to be treated fairly. This bill isn't radical. It's baseline humanity, fair wages, safe conditions, protection from retaliation. Things every worker deserves. Things every worker should have had decades ago. She looks directly at the legislators. You can pass this bill and be part of progress. Or you can vote against it and explain to your constituents why their work doesn't matter. Why their dignity isn't worth protecting. I'm not asking for compassion. I'm demanding justice. Because workers built this country. They clean your offices, care for your children, keep society functioning. Her voice rises, filling the chamber. And if they're invisible to you, that says everything about your values and nothing about their worth. The gallery erupts in applause. Workers stand, chanting, "Dignity now, justice now." 6 weeks later, the bill passes. Not unanimously, progress never is. But it passes. Minimum wage increases. Health care mandates. Anti-retaliation protections. Everything the foundation fought for. Kendra watches from the gallery as the president signs it into law. She doesn't cry, doesn't celebrate loudly. She just breathes. Deep, steady. Because this is what victory looks like. Not glory, just progress. But the work doesn't stop. It never stops. The foundation expands to 40 states. International chapters forming. Workers organizing globally. Kendra travels constantly. Speaking, training, fighting. She's tired. Always tired. But purposeful. How do you keep going? A journalist asks. Because the alternative is letting them win, Kendra says. And I didn't survive everything I survived just to give up now. Workers across the world know her name, see themselves in her story. A housekeeper in Los Angeles organizes her first union, credits Kendra's testimony for giving her courage. A domestic worker in London starts a support group, uses the foundation's model. A caregiver in Tokyo reads Kendra's story, learns she's not alone. The ripples spread, endless, growing. Kendra's not perfect. She makes mistakes, gets frustrated, wants to quit sometimes. But she doesn't. Because too many people depend on the work. Too many voices need amplifying. You're a hero, people tell her. I'm a worker who refused to disappear, she corrects. The heroism is in the refusal. Anyone can do it. Hit subscribe right now. Only people who stand by evil won't. Only people comfortable with injustice will scroll past. Prove you're different. Show the heroes like Kendra will never be invisible again. Make sure the next person who needs help finds it. Be part of the solution, not part of the silence. 5 years after the rain, Kendra walks past that brick wall again. Someone sits there, cold, alone, holding a sign. Kendra doesn't hesitate. She stops, sits down beside them. "What's your name?" she asks. And the cycle continues. One person at a time. One act of seeing at a time. The camera pulls back, shows the city. Millions of people, thousands invisible, but fewer now. Because of Kendra. Because of the foundation. Because of every person who chose to see instead of look away. The work isn't finished. It never will be. But it's happening. Change is happening. Kendra stands, helps the person up, gives them the foundations card. "Call tomorrow," she says. "We'll help." They look at her like she's offering the impossible. She smiles. "I sat right here once. Thought it was over. It wasn't. And neither is your story." She walks into the crowd. Just another person in the city. Except she's not. She's proof. Proof that invisible people can become impossible to ignore. That one moment of courage can spark decades of change. That broken systems can be rebuilt by the people they tried to break. The screen fades to black. Text appears. The Kendra Willis Foundation has helped over 50,000 workers to date. The work continues. Will you join it?